Alright, so today I wanted to talk about my first trimester experiences and what clued me in to know that I was actually pregnant like really early on. I'm currently about 25 weeks right now, so I'm in my second trimester, so I still remember all too well how the first felt, and I'm already feeling a lot better in this trimester. I'll do a video on my second trimester experience once I'm done with it. I'm gonna get into like food and cravings, if I had nausea or not, like what I changed about my, everyday schedule, symptoms I noticed early on, if I had ovulation pain, then like the 3-week, 4-week, and 5-week symptoms, because after that that's when it was changing a lot, and then after that it was kind of just the same symptoms until a little bit into my second. And then I'll also talk about, I already have a video on how I conceived, or how we conceived on our first try, and I do talk about kind of what we did, how what I think worked, and I'll be talking about, I guess, our schedule, like what we did. We actually went off of a book that is supposed to have new research on helping you either sway for a boy or a girl, and it worked for us. I talked more about that already in my we conceived on our first try video. So yeah. So with food, I did have aversions. Before I became pregnant, I would have scrambled eggs, 2 scrambled eggs, 2 pieces of bacon, coffee every morning. That was just what I did every single day. Sometimes scrambled, maybe sometimes over like easy, over medium. But throughout my whole first trimester, I couldn't stomach the consistency of eggs. It just didn't sound appealing to me. Textures were really important to me during this time, and unfortunately, I know they're a really great health food, so I was kind of bummed that I wasn't able to eat those my first trimester, but in my second, that changed, so couldn't really eat eggs. We also pretty much eat the same thing for dinner every day. My husband will grill like a steak, some type of, any cut, whatever is the best deal, that day or week, and we'll just have that and some grilled veggies like on the side. I also couldn't stomach the texture of steak, no matter the cut. We eat them like medium rare. I couldn't do medium, I couldn't do well done, or medium rare, like nothing appealed to me, so I had to get creative with my dinners from then on. Things that I craved cherries for breakfast, like fruit in the morning was really appealing to me. I also got on a little oatmeal kick. I would have oatmeal and chop up, or actually no, I wouldn't put in, I would just put a lot of cinnamon on the inside, just the prepackaged apple and cinnamon oatmeal, and then I would add a ton more cinnamon with it. Sometimes I would usually have like 2-pack, and that would fill me up. But on days that I was really nauseous, really the only thing that I could think about was cup of noodles. So I ate a lot of cup of noodles my first trimester early on. The cup of noodles, the bowl of noodles, oh my god, those tasted so good to me early on. The spicy chicken, I think, or the spicy beef, one of those. Oh, it's just so good, and it's just so easy, like you're just not feeling yourself, and I didn't really have the energy to like make anything cool. Like the instant oatmeal is like pretty easy. It's the same process as the bowl of noodles. Just put the kettle on and then pour the hot water in there, and it was just so satisfying. And something about having the broth helped to coat my stomach, or made me feel full but not too full where I felt super nauseous. Sometimes I would have more than one. I had a lot. It was not my best moments, but they were just delicious to me. I would make this smoothie: fresh blueberries, milk, honey, and like half a banana. Do I have anything else? Oh, I would do milk, and I would also do kefir. I think that's what I did. Not really milk, but I would do like the kefir, so it's kind of tangy, and some blueberries, a little squeeze of honey, half a banana, and then blend that up, and I would have that as like a smoothie with my cherries. That would be at like 8 or 9 when I eat breakfast, and then around 11 or 12 when I'm hungry again, maybe have a cup of noodles, or maybe I just start out with a cup of noodles. Sparkling waters were really helpful to me at that time. Oh, I was also craving orange juice, like something about Oh, I needed orange juice. I was chugging orange juice. I feel like it kind of helped with the nausea, but it just went so good with oatmeal or the fruit that I was eating in the morning. And then when I was having the cup of noodles, I'd have like a sparkling water with it. I was craving carbs because, I don't know, maybe I needed the energy. Things that I stopped eating was coffee. We actually got an espresso machine last summer before we conceived, so I would have espresso. I make a Vietnamese iced coffee. I would make like a long espresso with just sugar or milk or nothing. But while we were trying to conceive, and then after we tried, I told myself I wouldn't have coffee until my second trimester, just to be safe. I know plenty of women do it and it works out just fine, but me personally, it was just something I wanted to err on safe side. Having coffee, it doesn't harm you as if you're having it in small amounts during pregnancy, and I drink coffee now with no problem. But initially I just stopped. That was something I wanted to cut out. Alcohol, obviously. So, nausea. We know the term morning sickness. If you are someone who's trying to get pregnant, trying to conceive, watching pregnancy videos, you have probably heard that it's really just all-day nausea. I never threw up any food. I would just feel queasiness all day long. Sometimes after I ate, it would be a little more intensified. When I would brush my teeth in the mornings, well, mainly when I would brush my tongue, I would gag a lot of times to the point I'm not like sticking my toothbrush like way down my throat, just doing what I normally do, and it would just trigger my gag reflex really badly. If I was brushing my teeth in the shower, I would just be like retching in the shower. Initially, nothing was really coming up. Maybe a couple weeks into the first trimester, I would throw up bile if the gagging got really bad. Never food, never like the night before's dinner, just yellow, greenish bile. Honestly, I kind of looked forward to that because it gave a little bit of relief. It would just put me in a better position for breakfast. Like I would feel like, okay, I can eat. The nausea is not as bad, which is not going to prevent me from having breakfast that morning, if that makes sense. Remedies, I was sucking down ginger candies like nobody's business. I would keep them in my coat pocket, keep them in my robe pocket, keep them in my purse, keep them in my car. That would help me a lot. I initially started with the like chewy ones. Same brand, they make a hard candy version. I prefer the hard one because it lasts longer and you don't get as much saliva that you have to like swallow down, which sometimes triggers more nausea. So yeah, I was popping those all the time. When I would work out in the mornings, I would go through like 3 of those. That really helped me get through my workouts. Mint gum helped a lot. I would keep that in my purse at all times. I would mainly have that when I was out and about. If I was at home, I would most likely be using the ginger candy. Toward like the middle and the end of the second trimester, peppermint tea helped. I have really bad, well, even before I was pregnant, like my sinuses or like postnasal drip or something's going on like ear, nose, and throat wise. Having that and having like the feeling of like phlegm in the back of your throat from whatever environmental things are making or triggering your sinus issues does not do anything but exacerbate nausea. So I feel like if I didn't have that, like if I had time to correct that before I got pregnant, maybe it wouldn't have been as bad. For example, for I don't know, the past like 2 years, I have been at a 6 a.m. I don't even know what you call it. It's weightlifting and cardio 5 days a week. It is called Bunda in West Hollywood. They have a Santa Monica location as well in LA, and now they have one in Miami, and they're expanding to other states. But yeah, that's where I would be. You basically do like 7 to 8 minutes intervals of either weight training or cardio. So you either start on the Stairmaster or you start on the floor with your weights, and then there's 3 rounds, and after like 7 or 8 minutes you switch from whichever one you were. You do the switch 3 times and that's it. Mondays would be button legs, Tuesday arms and abs, Wednesday button legs, Thursday total body, and then Friday button legs again. And then in between you're doing like different speeds and different variations on the Stairmaster. Really great workout, get really sweaty, feel great afterwards. I was doing that up until when we moved from Los Angeles, because we moved from LA to Orange County in into January. So I was going all of December and January. A few times in February I would drive on the weekends to go take weekend classes there from Orange County, but I might start again like in my 3rd trimester just to see how I feel. I kind of want to just check my endurance, like cardio wise, because for labor and delivery I just want to make sure that I am ready. So I could get through the workouts just like normal. Didn't have to do too many modifications during those times because I wasn't even showing yet. Wasn't feeling like super heavy in my, you know, uterus or tummy, anything like that. Felt pretty normal aside from the nausea. So that's pretty much all I did. And walking the dogs, take the dogs on like an hour-long walk. Symptoms that I noticed really early on before I even took a pregnancy test were sore breasts. When I have my cycle, I don't really get sore breasts, so when that happened, I kind of knew something was up. I also noticed that I was producing a lot of saliva. My mouth would just be like watering for no reason. I had nausea pretty early on too. Like I remember like around Christmas, I was visiting family and I was in Target and my mouth was like watering and I was feeling nauseous and I was like, okay, maybe I'm gonna throw up, but I never threw up, and then the nausea just kind of never went away. I was like, well, what else could it be? So I kind of knew, it's like, why else would I be nauseous? And I was constipated for a couple days, like right after ovulation. Once I finally was able to, the next couple weeks it would be on and off. So that was really uncomfortable. It would make me really bloated and I would just feel like blah. I also noticed that my hair was softer, so that was really nice, and I hope that that stays. I got some hormonal acne, I think around, my chin or maybe my cheeks, but I haven't had breakouts like that in so long. Didn't change anything in skincare, so I knew that something was going on in there because I haven't had hormonal acne in years. Those are things that I noticed early on. Some things that I noticed later in the 1st trimester after pregnancy is already confirmed was like hyperpigmentation, like in like wrinkly parts of my skin, so on my neck, on my underarms. So yeah, like where like the creases are, it would just get a little hyperpigmented. Ovulation pain, I did feel it, or what I presume was ovulation pain. So I conceived somewhere between 11:21 and 11:25, most likely around the 23rd, 24th. And I remember feeling ovulation pain on 11:21 and kind of like throughout that whole week. I guess now I can talk about the book, The Baby Dust Method, if you guys are familiar with that. Or if you're not and you're interested in reading something that will give you some information and studies on people choosing the gender of their child or trying different conception timing methods to ensure either conception of a boy or conception of a girl. It's called The Baby Dust Method. I think the author's name is Catherine Taylor. But anyway, so for this method, having sex or intercourse with the purpose of conception is called baby dancing. So in my video, how we conceived on our first try, I talked about how in September I didn't ovulate, October I ovulated. So then I was worried maybe in November I would also not ovulate or something. So I was really like, I don't want to miss this window. So we baby danced 11:20, 11:21, 11:22, 11:23, and 11:24. On the 23rd and the 24th, those were our like timed tries, because when trying to conceive a boy, you need to baby dance, I think it's like twice in a 24-hour period or something like that, 24 to 48-hour period. Like if your schedules aren't aligned for the 24 hours, then you gotta at least do it by 48, something like that. Read the book. I don't know off the top of my head. So on the 23rd, we timed it for 11:30, and the 23rd was also the day that my LH peaked. The next day, we did another timed baby dance at 9 a.m. and then nothing on the 25th. Ooh, sorry, I'm out of breath. So I feel like I kind of knew, I guess we already talked about this, like the early symptoms, but I guess something interesting like around the 23rd was I had fatigue. So the day before Thanksgiving, like I kind of just like slept all day, which I just what I did. And then the day, I remember the day after Thanksgiving, I stayed up really late and I was just like famished. Like I was smashing like ramen noodles, these little Argentinian sandwiches called sandwich de mica or Rafaelitos. Yeah, I had so many of those. And I stayed up super late, which is I normally don't do. And I actually did, I remember feeling nauseous on the 22nd. I was constipated from the 24th to the 26th. And then after the 26th, I would start getting nauseous after breakfast. So I had symptoms like kind of like right away. I was tracking them in the Premom app, which is also where I was tracking like LH and my basal body temperature and all that. After the 26th, my cervical mucus became very creamy, which made me think that, oh, we were successful, because usually after ovulation and up until your period, you really don't have cervical mucus. So I knew something was up. At 3 weeks, that's when I noticed the hormonal acne, so that was a clue. I also started feeling soreness in my breast, which I think I mentioned earlier. In my cycles, I don't experience that. I also was getting cramps like in the middle of my belly, and then I remember being like, when I woke up in the morning, if I didn't eat something, I felt like I was gonna die. Like I was so hungry. Oh, and my basal body temperatures, I talked about this in my conception on the first try video, but normally even after ovulation, my numbers are like in the high 97s. Like it'll be like 97.7 something, 0.8 something. But this time I was in the 98s, which doesn't happen often for me. I think part of it is because I take my temperatures so early in the morning, and later on, like if you're waking up a little bit later in the day, or at least for me, when I'm waking up a little bit later in the day, my basal body temperatures, the base reads higher, even pre-ovulation. So that was exciting. And then at 4 weeks, I was finally more regular. I wasn't constipated any longer. So I actually started tracking it in the Premom app in case the constipation came back, and it didn't. Still had a lot of cervical mucus. My breasts were sore, and I was very, very bloated. I thought, okay, maybe I'm about to start my period because I'm bloated, but it was like, it was a lot of bloat. So it was a little bit different than period bloat. Week 5, my acne came back and I was nauseous and feeling sharp twinges on my left side near my uterus. That could have been implantation. I never had implantation bleeding, but maybe I was feeling implantation. And then the rest of the first trimester, I really just dealt with all day nausea, some fatigue here and there. The nausea happened all day, whether I was eating or not. Sometimes eating gave some relief, and once I was done, it would be aggravated again. I did my best to kind of like rest and take it easy. Kind of really the only like strenuous activity I was doing was the early morning workouts, and then I would kind of just, you know, work from home and take it easy. But in December and January, the weather here was so bad. Like it was very cold, it was really rainy, it was cloudy, like there weren't a lot of days with sun. So I honestly, like, I wasn't depressed, but it definitely made, I mean, it's no fun going outside when it's cold and wet. So I definitely spent a lot of time just in bed. And that's pretty much it. I am almost done with my second trimester, like I mentioned, so I can definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know that for some women, the first and second trimester are not that different, And for others, the second trimester is like the golden hour. Like they say it's the best time of pregnancy. So I was really hoping that that would be the case for me. It didn't happen right away when my second trimester started. So I was like, oh damn, am I gonna be one of those people that the second trimester is just as bad? But it got so much better. So I'll be doing a video on my second trimester experiences once I'm done. I'm almost there. And yeah, hopefully we stay on this trajectory for the third, and the third doesn't come out of nowhere with some random crap that I haven't felt yet, or it doesn't suck me back into the first trimester. But regardless, whatever happens, obviously I'm so grateful and thankful to be pregnant, to be in my 25th week. So, you know, we're kind of smooth sailing from here now, at least in regards to viability, and we're starting to get things together and really just pushing right along, getting ready. So it's very exciting, and good luck to anyone who is trying to conceive. Just do the best to be kind to yourself, take care of yourself, get rid of those stressors in your life, make sure you have supportive people around you. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next trimester.